personal responsibility. Okay. I've been doing all my shopping online. From groceries to clothes, everything, which means I usually get a lot of deliveries. I also buy a lot of stuff for my family to use, especially when groceries and basic necessities. I started buying from more small local businesses. It being the pandemic and me wanting to help them more instead of big businesses like Amazon. This has meant having to deal with incredibly vague, or straight up wrong, delivery information. I've worked at a small business before, so I expected these problems and don't mind it. Few weeks ago, Mom doesn't work anymore. Sis is on term break. And I am working from home having a meeting. A delivery comes and no one answers the door. I have my headphones on so I can't hear the bell. The delivery man calls me and tells me he has been ringing the door and no one is answering, even though he can hear the TV. I apologize and run out to collect the parcel. See my mom in front of the telly with so much indifference. This makes me mildly annoyed and I asked her nicely to help open the door next time. Immediately she screams at me for assuming she has nothing to do, which sets off this shouting match between her and I. My sister comes out of her room, takes my mother's side and shouts at me for being rude, just for expecting my mother to answer the door. At this point I'm livid and I ask if it's too much to expect my own family to help with these things, especially when I am working. They both go on about how it's my personal responsibility to collect my own deliveries and that I should not take for granted that they'll help just because they're at home, and that I should tell them when I have deliveries coming. To which I try to explain about the often vague delivery estimates I get. This one in particular was supposed to come 2 days later. I point out to them that most of the deliveries that come for me end up being shared by the family, i.e. the groceries, coffee, necessities, etc. And that at the start of the year, before my mom quit her job, I was working from home alone collecting everyone's deliveries even when no one tells me about any incoming ones. I singled out one day my sister had 4 deliveries and I collected them all with no complaints. But obviously none of it gets through to them and I give up the argument since I was outnumbered. Bring on the MC. I stopped ordering groceries for the whole family and food runs out. Both mom and sis just assume that I would order more, and when I don't they question me about it and I tell them that it's their own personal responsibility to get their own groceries. A couple of deliveries came for my sister when she wasn't home and I didn't bother receiving it, because the personal responsibility was hers to collect. Plus, she didn't tell anyone about them. Turns out one of those deliveries was a laptop, and because no one answered the door, it was left outside and got stolen. My sister got, rightfully, angry at me and my mother, but I used their bullshit, personal responsibility, excuse back on her. Now no one is talking to each other, but I don't care. I feel like I've willingly and readily helped them, but when I ask for help in return it's way too much for them to do so. This might be petty AF, but fuck it. It's the card they chose to play. Edit. Thank you all for the words of support. I didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. Wow. And thank you for the awards too. I'll answer some common questions with this edit. Over here, couriers give you the option to allow them to leave the package at your door. It is an explicit opt-in you must do, and I guess my sister chose that for her laptop. Jokes on her for choosing that for such an expensive item. She made a police report about it, but the courier won't do anything because she gave them explicit permission to leave it at the door. They have photo and video proof of delivery that they even provided. My mom isn't old, have hearing loss. If she was, I wouldn't expect her to be receiving deliveries. We don't live in a dangerous area. Not opening doors is actually uncommon here. My mom, however, expects everyone else to do it for some reason. Moving out and being in a toxic environment. I used to think a lot of this was in my head and that I was just letting it all get to me. Thank you all for helping me see that it wasn't and that my family has been emotionally abusive. It took a lot for me to draw that line, but I guess something snapped in me and gave me the courage. I am actively looking for a place and my best friend deals with property. She's helping me keep an eye put for good places to move to. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the rental market has become a shit show with landlords taking advantage of foreigners stuck here to charge ungodly rent. Fingers crossed though that I find something. Again, thank you all for the encouragement and support. It really means a lot to me. Edit 2. Also, yes, gotta agree with one Redditor that we all ended up as losers in this. But I am loving the peace I've gotten from being left alone too. Sounds like a cozy household. Time to move out, I guess. Your sister did not have a right to be mad at you. It's her own fault for not telling you an expensive laptop would be delivered. Especially after her personal responsibility BS. That's called karma. NTA. Is your sister the golden child? Good for you standing your ground. Much more peaceful if they're not talking to you if they have nothing to contribute that enhances your life. P.S. Was your mother at home when the laptop was delivered? Is there somewhere where it is common to not answer the door in a house where you live? If you are physically able, etc. This is incomprehensible to me. It could be neighbors, friends, emergencies, or anything. I cannot understand the not getting off the chair to answer the door. I mean, yeah, slightly annoying maybe? But when some of the things are for you, I would be up like a shot. Fuck them and fuck their idiocy. It's not petty. It's justified emo lol. I don't blame you. It's not your responsibility to feed them, pay bills that aren't in your name, or do anything for them. You do it because you're home and able. But if they won't return the favor, it's no one's fault but their own if they didn't get something delivered to them or it got stolen. They deserved it for being a-holes. Move out. Get a room in a house share. Within a few weeks, all the crap you do and the groceries you get will be really noticed. Sometimes the harshest path is the only one to take. You did the right thing. It's basic human courtesy to at least answer the door when you hear it knock, ring. Your sister was out of line and she could have easily taken your side. Oh well. She got her karma. Hopefully, this will teach her. While it's not your fault things ended up this way, you are in an extremely dysfunctional situation. There won't be any proper resolution to this until the others apologize to you for their behavior. But I doubt this will happen since they are now fresh with newer wounds that they're blaming you for. I think it's time you move out. It would be the next logical step of you taking personal responsibility anyway. They got what they deserved. If they continue to complain, just point out that you're not doing anything that they didn't do in the first place. They thought they were in the right when they did this to you. So they mustn't get upset when your behavior is as acceptable as theirs. I think this could go in AITA? Your NTABTW. Fucking family, my sister is a bitch too. My husband and son had a delivery the other day, but I went to the door. What is their problem? You should move out as soon as possible. A household where people don't help each other isn't worth a second thought. Now no one is talking to each other, but I don't care. Finally some peace and quiet, eh? So you are replaying them in spades. closing parenthesis. One thing I'll never understand is how in the US, leaving a package outside counts as a delivery that becomes your responsibility. Why would you? I mean, they want to act that way and expect you to do everything then. Well, karma as a raging bee. Family, it's supposed to take care of each other, not expect one person to do the work. And Mom was right there. She may be retired, but she couldn't get up to answer the door? Takes less than 5 minutes for those kind of deliveries. As far as your sister and her laptop? Oh, well, it's her own fault and personal responsibility for that laptop. Didn't tell anyone it was coming and wasn't there to make sure it was delivered, not stolen. Poor baby. Does she need a bottle warmed too? Sounds about right. Got to love toxic family relationships.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.